Yo, um, this is a not like my regular videos on my page. I don't want it to be flashy or um, you know, look a certain way. Wasn't planned out. Um, just feeling away today. You know, I was at work and the these thoughts about life kind of flowed through my mind a little bit. Uh, and I started thinking about the infinity sign. You know, it's the infinity sign we learned in school. Uh, you know, infinity means to just keep going, right? And you know how I forget the exact term, but you know, like a wedding ring, right? They say a wedding ring is circular. If I remember correctly, it's circular because it's the continuation of love or something like that. A circle is perfectly around and it always meets back to the same point, right? Infinity does the same thing. Um, Life is an infinite cycle in so many different ways. I feel like a lot of us live in an infinity. Basically meaning we go through we go through things, but it's not in a smooth circular motion. It's a infinity. It's ups and downs, it's loops, it's hurdles, it's all types of stuff, and that's just life. And I guess that's what makes life special. But those days when you come on that bottom side of the infinity, those rough days, the days that you weren't expecting, the issues that you didn't think you would have to face, you know, that's when life really starts to hit. That's when um, infinity feels like a long time. But the thing about life is, it's not infinite. It's not infinite. Eventually, it ends. Every story comes to a close. No matter what you do, eventually your story ends. Um, I don't know, dog. I just been like going down so many different rabbit holes of like learning things and thinking about my own mortality as I watch my kids grow. It's like, I only hope to see them age, have a family. But life is rough, bro. It's scary. There's so many unknowns. People that are so young are just not here. Some people didn't even have a chance. Basically, the reason I'm making this video is to just find space in your heart to be there for people, check on people. Uh, Perfect example. There's a guy that I saw on YouTube. I want to say it's about 7 or 8 years ago. Um, I'm gonna find his actual Instagram. Is I want well, not Instagram. I think his YouTube is like Pee Wee Toms. He was trying to do vlogging, you know, younger guy. I think he was like in his 30s. I want to say, and he was just doing regular vlogs, healthy dude. And then one day he had a lump in his side, and he found that he had a terminal cancer. And I remember watching this 8 or 7 years ago, and he ended up passing away at the age of 35. He married his wife, right before he passed, and that was it. And his last video, he said he's trying to make the best of a dark situation, and he was speaking about how he felt like there was so much more he wanted to do. That's where it's like life hits you, bro. Like stuff like that. And the thing that's strange is every time I start feeling a way about just life in general, his videos pop up. I can't explain why, but they do. And it makes you think like, are you truly doing everything that you're supposed to do? And like everything that you're put here to do. We get caught up so much in just everyday life, uh, you know, that we don't really take a second to appreciate what we have, appreciate what, effort that you have put into your life, and realize that you're special, bro, and you're meant to be here. And you got to make the most of this life that you got. When I say that watching my kids grow makes me think of my own mortality. It's situations like that where this man was 35 years old, passed away from cancer, or you see stories of people, just going for a walk, getting hit by a car. And I know it's consumption, it's just the things that you consume, the things you see, but it's like younger people pass away from heart attacks or other illnesses, or violence. Like, it's hard. It gets hard to ignore it. And it's crazy to me how like some people you speak to have put themselves in such a bubble that they don't realize how life can be cut short. They don't realize how fragile life is. They don't realize how important the people that you have in your life are to it. Like, I'm thankful for the people in my life, the people that care about me. There was a person I knew long ago. I remember I said, man, sometimes I just want to like, pack up and move somewhere nobody knows me. Like, well, nobody does know you. I'm like, wow. It's funny how cruelness, no matter if you mean it uh, that way, it feels like a crude tone or a cruel tone or a cruel word is easier to flow off a tongue than words of encouragement. Um, you gotta care about your people, bro. Like, if there's one thing that I hope as life goes on and as people speak of me, I just hope that they felt like they were taken care of when they were in conversation with me or when they're around me or whatever it is. I want to be a person that brings peace to people, not destruction, not stress, not any of that. And you know, I think this, like, going back to my original point of just how life is like an infinity. There's like, I want you guys to look at it, look at the logo for infinity. Look at the symbol. And life has so many ups and downs, but then it's always that intersecting point. That's the part that like that's the part that I feel like attaches to me the most, because when we hit that intersection in life, when it comes back around, because everything does. People call it karma. Um, you could call it reflection, whatever. everything that you do within those ups and downs on each side of the infinity, at some point you got to come back together at that crossroad. And when I come to those points, it's a lot of reflection. It's a lot of what ifs. It's a lot of like, you know, just hoping I gave it all I could. Um, I poured enough, or I pour into my family the way I'm supposed to. Um, Making sure you're giving your all at your job or whatever it is. But it's always like all these things require so much from you as at so many different times of the day, times of your life, times of the week, that it can, bro, it can fog you, man. Like it can fog your mind and like really put a cloud over like, yo, like, am I taking care of myself? If I am I truly doing what I'm supposed to? You start building doubt. And that's pretty much why I wanted to come here and just talk, because I'm like, hey man, maybe somebody else feels this way. It gets rough sometimes, dog. Like when you cross that intersection again. You know, I'll leave you guys with this. I love space. Like it's one of my favorite things to learn about, read about, whatever. And there's so many wonders and amazing things about our universe and just the galaxy in general. And there's so many things that are unexplained. But for me, like one of the most impressive things, and one of the things that stand out because I feel like it relates to a lot of us, are comets. And the reason why I say that is because comets move at such a fast speed. They're racing to a destination unknown, like a lot of us. And a lot of times, comets come too close to the sun, like a lot of us do. We're speeding at such a high velocity, rushing through life, rushing through relationships, rushing through conversations, rushing to get to work, that we don't realize that we're flying so fast and getting so close to the thing that's going to burn us, that we just keep going blindly, and we catch on fire. You know, it's there's so many things that relate to life that, like, if I had time to just look at certain things and explain it to you guys from my perspective of just like how the world and the universe and things that you may read, the scriptures and all this stuff. There's so many things that can be examples of life and how fragile and how reckless it can be. And a lot of us are comets racing towards the sun, and we don't realize what we're doing until it gets too hot, and then we got to deviate. Almost like the story of Icarus. That's a good one too. Icarus didn't want to listen to his father. His father told him that the wings that he created for him were made out of wax, if I remember correctly. And Icarus still decided that he wanted to fly as high and as fast as he could, not listen to his father's word. And Icarus flew so high that the sun melted his wings. So I love stories like that because it relates to us, bro. It does. And it reminds me of just like when my dad told me, like, don't do this or you know, um, whatever it may be when I was younger, and how much that relates to my life now. I still hear my pops telling me, you know, like, don't do that. Think about maybe doing it this way. My father, one thing I always appreciate about my pops, man, that man has a way of making his point without belittling you, without making you feel like you're stupid or whatever. My dad always had a way of teaching a lesson when you failed or when you did something you weren't supposed to do. Um, that's why, like, when certain people feel like ruling with an iron fist is the way of life. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. You can be stern and your kids respect you, or people at the job respect you. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be crude to people, man. You know, but that's life. That's my view of life. It's just it's an infinite. It's an infinite thing until it's not. We choose to be those comets in the skies that fly way too fast, not paying attention to what's going on, getting too close to the sun and catching on fire and becoming a beautiful disaster. So I guess my final message to you guys is, when you feel like you're losing control, or you feel like you're moving too fast, or you feel like you need a shift or a change in your life, you got to sit down when you get to those crossroads and reflect on your life, reflect on things you may want to change, um, and just try to always be better the next day. Everywhere the sun rises and sets, man. And every single day the sun rises is a blessing to us all. So, uh, yeah, man. I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys have a great week, great day, whenever you watch this. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.